Hi, Maddie and Matt. I hope you guys are having a good trip to Wisconsin. This is your video lesson for today. If you have any questions at the end or want me to look at anything, feel free to shoot on over. I'll be in the studio till Tuesday evening, and then I will be on vacation. Good. So anyway, so I got your Matt. You told me about the question Maddie had last time we were in the studio. Last was the rhythm in Song of the Wind in measure. I guess I know she's kind of like half looking at her music and then half doing it by ear. It's good. So make sure keep that ear work up. That's super important. In addition to looking at the sheet music. So this is like complete measure 1, 2, 3, measure 4. That rhythm in there that where she has what is that passage? So that's it. Rest. Rest. So what we can do about that is practicing that rhythm by itself off the guitar. So what I would actually have her do, I've written this out right here, and I've written the tas and the titis. I think you said that she was fluent in that. She used that at school, so I have that right here and accompanying the video. So I have these rhythms right here. So your first part, we have these are these eighth notes, right? Every night here is in 2/4, 2 counts per measure. T, 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 ta, rest. T, 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 ta, rest. So what I would actually have Maddie do is sit there and go T, 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 ta, rest. T, 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 ta, rest. And practice that on a loop. That'll help her get that rhythm a bit more solid under her fingers. And do that solo first, so guys can do that together. You can clap together on that one. The second thing I would have her do with this is doing a clapping duet. So what you would do is, if you're game for it, I've written out the part right here. This is my teacher part rhythm right here. So this is like everything that I do rhythmically. I'm going T, 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 and just kind of loop that right there. So one of you could practice, or both of you could do it together. T, 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 T. T, T. Now, the danger with that is that since it's straight TTs, it's easy to turn your brain off while you're doing that. So what I would actually have her do is like see if you can clap a complete set of 2 measures of that. So like T, 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 and then stop right there to make sure that she knows how long it actually is rather than just doing arbitrary T, 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 and you have no idea where you are. So it actually kind of helps to hear kind of like the melody in your head. Da 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 boom 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 da 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 boom boom is my teacher part. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and that's like some tricky counting right there, but you can give that a go. And then what you'd want to do is see if she can clap her rhythm against your straight 8th notes. You won't say 16th notes, 8th notes. So what you could do is this. She would do this. T, 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 ta, rest. T, 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 ta, rest, right? And then you would clap the T, 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 T part and see if she can do that with your part and do the correct amount of spacing right there. And then she can sing her part. Da, da, or she can hum her part, however comfortable she is with that. Humming is just as fine. Da, 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 boom, 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 da, 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 da. Right, would be your part right there. And then what I would do is do that on the open strings. So she would play this, like da 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 da, rest. Da 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 da. Or I say T T T T ta, rest. And to create the rest, I'm just simply touching the string with my alternating finger. So I go T T T T ta, rest. I'm just slightly touching that note right there. And then you can get out your guitar and you can practice doing T, 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 T. You can do it with a pick. You don't do it with your fingers if you're not comfortable with that yet. T, 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 T. While she's doing that. And then what I would have her do after that is then she can play her part. Rest. Rest while you're doing to make sure that spacing is all correct in there. And then I'm doing a lot of listening too, so listening to the song a lot will help kind of get that in. I know sometimes when the kids play da da dee da da, and they do a big old stomp, right? The stomp is the exciting part, so they want to make that like the big thing that they do. But what I would do is make it like a small stomp, right? Ba 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 stomp, da 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 stomp, right? Just a tiny one, because if they do a big production, It's kind of like when I teach electric guitar and people how to solo. I'll go, all right, let's try a string bend, and then they'll do like a string bend, but the string bend takes up all this time. It's an inordinate amount of time for the string bend because they're thinking, oh, that's the big part, the big climax of the line. So you want to make that stand out. Well, yeah, you do, but it shouldn't come at the expense of the duration. The rhythm rules all, and your string bend's cool, but it doesn't circumvent the importance of the beat, right? Everything, the beat follows everything. It rules all. I think it's the most important element of music, in my opinion. But who am I? Anyway, so work on those things right there for me. If you want to send her a video of her doing that, like I said, I'll be until Tuesday. And if not, I will see you same time next time. Bye.